and welcome to Glass Tire. I am Christina Rees, and this is a video artist check-in, and I'm here with Zeke Williams. Hi, Zeke.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good, and I'm in Fort Worth for various strange reasons, and you right now, even though you don't live in Dallas, you're at your Dallas studio.
Yes, I came in today, work on some paintings, and just be out of the house for a minute. There's nobody else here, so it's nice.
So how are you feeling? So you're the first person I concretely knew of, who actually contracted COVID.
Yeah, I'm quite well now. I was very sick for a minute there. I did not go to the hospital, but I was stuck in bed for several days and had like all of the symptoms. The dry cough and the pneumonia. I had the diarrhea and the lack of taste and the muscle aches and pains and the shivers. And because I have a history of heart failure and diabetes, and I had just been to New York City, I was tested positive, but the positive test didn't really come back till after I was kind of feeling better. Like I was definitely out of all the bad stuff and just on the like kind of dry cough and feel slow for a week or two part of it, which is just sort of the result of being sick.
And that was mid-March, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, I think I was tested on the 16th, and I received my test back on the 23rd. Maybe it was a Monday or a Tuesday, and by then I was already pretty much well. Like I had not had any real symptoms at that point. So it was sort of like I didn't know the whole time I had it that I had it, but like looking back on it and knowing that I had the positive test and like considering how miserable I was, I definitely had it, and not exactly the mildest case, but not the worst either. I didn't go to the hospital. So,
do you feel anything? Do you feel any lingering effects or or anything now? Symptoms?
I've been starting to exercise again, and I think I still have some lung damage, but it's already just with the first couple weeks of exercise, it's been at least mitigated by working out. I think it's still there, and I think it'll be there for a while, but I think it's like more of a 10% loss than anything major. And at this point, it maybe felt like 25, 30% at first. And I feel like, a year or two in, I'll hopefully have it mostly gone or just be used to it.
Wow.
But overall, I feel like I got very lucky, and immediately after my positive test came back and I was feeling better, I started trying to get and was able to get Tarrant County Health Department to do some more tests on me a week or two later that were negative tests, and then I was able to donate plasma through the convalescent plasma programs that they're working on. I signed up through the one on UT Southwestern's website. And I was able to do that a week or two ago. And so that felt good, being able to do something that might actually help people. There's a bit of a misery in being an artist in situations like this where you don't necessarily feel like what you do can be much help. And this was like an opportunity, so it was good. I know what we do. I know what we do is important and art matters and all that, but like, yeah, when the world is ending, it doesn't feel like it matters that much.
Do they just want your plasma the one time, or is this something that you're going to go in and do numerous times?
I'll be going back every 29 days until they don't want me anymore. Normally I don't donate blood because I'm quasi-ineligible because of my heart failure. Like they don't like to take it from me, but in this situation, they will take plasma from me for research and for convalescent plasma. But normally I won't be able to do that, normally. So it's through Carter Blood Care, which is, affiliated with the Red Cross and all that. Yeah.
Do you feel fairly confident in the idea of your immunity right now?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. I'm not like going out there being crazy or anything, but I am doing my own grocery shopping, and have offered to do it for other people who are a little more vulnerable in my immediate community. But I'm not like, I luckily have a lot of art that I need to make, and I have school obligations that I need to meet, and so I'm not like out there delivering food for Uber or anything, you know. But you know, God bless the people who are. I know a lot of people are dependent upon that, and I hope they're being remunerated well, although I know they're probably not.
Good. You've also donated a really cool painting to Glass Tire's auction, and we wanted to talk to you a little bit about that.
But it's from a series of paintings called the Nobi Nobi Boy paintings, and they're the compositions for those paintings comes from a drawing video game for the iPhone called Nobi Nobi Boy. That was a offshoot of a PS3 game, and these games are like exceedingly aesthetic in a playful way, and don't really have much of a game to them. Like they're true sandboxy, but like with no goals at all. And the drawing game for the iPad is something my wife and I played a lot with each other, and just like made drawings and send them back and forth. And you just make the weirdest compositions because you're drawing with this worm that expands and contracts. Anyway, those made really great compositions, and then I took those into Illustrator and designed paintings and then printed them out and stretched them. You know, using a lot of other techniques after the fact, but that's how we got to the initial part, was through the Nobi Nobi Boy. I do pretty much since I started those and some other works related to them that I'm working on now. I do a lot of things in Illustrator that involve pattern fills and like designing new patterns and changing patterns and like remixing them. It's sort of become my kit for making images, you know. So Adobe Illustrator I owe you know, as much to as I owe anything else to some extent. Like it's my high-end oil paint, you know.
Yeah. There's an interesting trajectory for you is that you were already in the art scene in Dallas, Fort Worth. I think you already were represented by Aaron Cluley before you decided to go ahead and go back to grad school. Is that right?
Yeah, I'd had 2 solo shows at Aaron's and one at Gene Binder and Marfa.
Right.
And, you know, it was right before I started making that work that you have one for the auction, the Nobi Nobi work. I was feeling in a weird spot. I had done a lot of these kind of stenciled spray painted paintings. And I kind of like, at that point at least, felt like I'd kind of reached an end with them and I didn't know what I was doing. And I was like, well, maybe I should apply to grad school. And so I talked to Cam Shep at TCU. He's an old friend. I've known him and Terry since I was 16. And I was like, you know, if I applied, do you think it would make sense for me? And he's like, well, it depends on why you would want to come. And a lot of discussions later. And I ended up applying to TCU and getting in. And it's been a really good experience for me. It's definitely changed the work really fast. And being back in that academic environment, although, you know, with 20 years gap is rough, it's been really positive for me. And I think it's been good for the school as well. Having someone who's been out in the art world a lot and a lot of experience in the practical part of the art world, which is sort of hard to teach, you know. You know, basically, you know, show up to openings, talk to people a lot. Those are the 2 basic things, but it's more complicated than that. But that's the essence of getting business done in the art world, unfortunately. And so just having someone to reinforce that in a grad program and to the undergrads too, I think is important, because I don't feel like people hear that enough at school necessarily, you know, or at least they don't listen to it if they hear it.
That's right. That's right. But having you as a living, breathing example of, you know, how it works, I think is pretty useful for your fellow.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not getting rich or anything, but I'm doing it. I'm out there doing shows, and I'm part of the art world, and I survive off of it, you know, barely. And so it's a diverse opinion in an academic setting. So, you know, but of course, COVID has like thrown a wrench in that. I was expecting to be in the studio all summer there. And luckily for me, I still kept this studio here at Deadbolt because it's very affordable. And frankly, I need the storage space. So I have work I can do here, but it is a bummer for all the people in grad programs all over the country this summer that they won't have access to their studios or the equipment. that they're sort of like a big reason they signed up for grad school, along with the education and everything, the space and the time, and the summers are such an important time for getting work done. So it's unfortunate, but it's not an easy thing to mitigate in any special way. Like, world events are world events.
School going to kick in the fall? Are you guys going back? You're on a 3-year program, and this will be
at the moment. I mean, I am supposed to be teaching a class in the fall, and have received information to prepare to teach it in various ways. I mean, if I were 18 years old right now and I were scheduled to go to college in the fall, I would schedule a gap year. So I don't know how much that's going to affect enrollment and, just general schools everywhere. And I'm sure some teachers who are older and feel vulnerable might retire. Or at least not have classes this fall, or have only online classes or something. I mean, there's a lot of different variables at play here. Unfortunately for art, I think, a lot of the classes you really need to be there. You can do some of it digitally, but like, I can't imagine doing a full semester of a sculpture class online.
You and I, when I came to pick up your work for the auction, things hadn't quite shut down yet. And in fact, I took stuff back to Houston. I was back in Houston. I came back to Fort Worth when the shutdowns happened. And then you got in touch with me that you had been diagnosed positive. You and I had lunch. I think it was like a day or two before before they tested you.
Well, it was a day or two before I had any symptoms at all, and it was like 4 days before they tested me. Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things we talked about when this whole idea of shutdowns and distancing was looming. And
Yes.
You said to me, you talked about how tough it's going to be on you because you're naturally a real extrovert.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's been brutal. I talked about it with my therapist today, which is, provided by TCU, amazingly. I truly miss the bullshit interactions of art openings and of galas and parties. And I actually look forward to going to the Dallas Art Fair and seeing everyone from out of town and having a drink with them and just, gossiping about the art world and what's going on, and looking at all the work and seeing all the artists and people too. But I am a weirdo who doesn't mind or kind of likes the business of art. And I worked at Engstrom Gallery right out of college, like as you did later. But and it was a gauntlet of ice and fire, but it was also like an extraordinary experience in terms of learning the art world quickly. And without the people who are willing to do that, a lot of artists don't get paid ever.
That's
and surely we don't make enough money and no one sells enough and yada yada yada, but like, no one sells anything if no one's willing to be an art dealer. And that's a hard thing to do, and I appreciate it. And I enjoy art dealers and curators and other people who are like the infrastructure of the art business as much as anyone, and possibly a little too much.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm a big fan of dealers, and I was one for a while, but I've never stopped. And knowing so many of them so personally, I mean, I'm very worried. I'm really worried about galleries. In fact, that's probably one of my biggest worries right now. Is I worry about my friends who own and run galleries, who founded galleries, and I don't even want to ask them right now too much about how they're doing, because I don't want to take them into that spot. Texas feeling still somewhat protected from some things, and yet getting hit even harder than some states because of our oil industry, but gosh, and I did get close to a lot of dealers when I was a dealer, and now in the position I'm in, I can still be close to dealers because I'm not in the commercial world. I just get to stay friends with them and keep things off the record. But yeah, I love them too. I love art dealers. I love gallerists. They're some of my favorite people in the art world. They're some of the most perceptive, smartest, most interesting, and most passionate people. They have to be.
Yeah. We're doing a lot of interviews with artists she's been doing. And I've noticed that, people have sold okay during the Dallas Art Fair online. Not great, but like, I sold a painting and some other people sold some things. And so, maybe the impact hasn't like struck us yet, or maybe the art world really isn't correlated. But I have a feeling there's going to be effects, and galleries will close, and it's going to be scary for a while.
Well, we're so glad that you are okay. That is the most important thing. Knock on wood or touch wood. The surest wood. So we're glad. We're very happy. We're very happy that you gave us the painting. I think we're going to put together a good auction. We've got wonderful work from wonderful artists who are one of them. Thank you for talking to me today. It's nice to see your face.
It's good to see yours as well. I really, I love Glass Tire, and I'm happy to donate to the auction. And it's been a thing in my life for 20 years that has been meaningful. So I thank you.